All right, joining me now, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham to respond to this criticism. Senator, you just heard our reporting of what's happened in the last 24 hours since you made that statement. Towns annihilated, neighborhoods leveled, entire areas wiped off the map, and we've heard about targeting civilians. That would be innocent men, women, and children. So in the context of what we heard reported right here on this program tonight, that, I think, would justify the idea that if you have a conscience and a soul and you're around Vladimir Putin, I don't care, by whatever means necessary, stand up and stop this because innocent people are dying, including kids.
Well, thank you for having me. I spoke to the Ukrainian ambassador earlier today. Your voice is breaking through. After I listen to your program every night, Putin needs a longer table. Here's what I would say. I've been a military prosecutor, defense attorney, judge for 30-something years. I'm going to introduce a resolution next week. I'll give it to you on your show, declaring that Putin is a war criminal. It's clear to me the world would be better off if the Russian people took Putin out tonight. The war in Ukraine would end and Russia would have freedom they don't enjoy today. A steel curtain has descended upon the Russian people. What does that tell me? That Putin is afraid of his own people. Martial law has been virtually declared by Putin. I think the Russian people are not buying what Putin is selling when it comes to the Ukraine. And if the Ukrainian people continue to fight as brave as they are, I think eventually the dam will break in Russia. But I want to say this crystal clear, without apology, without equivocation, the world would be better off if Putin were gone tonight. And the best way to end this war is not American boots on the ground, but for the Russian people to rise up, reclaim the honor of their country, and take this guy out, Putin, by any means necessary. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand this war, and you don't understand the world in which we live.
I don't know what part of targeting civilians, annihilating towns, leveling neighborhoods, and wiping entire cities and buildings off the map people wouldn't understand. I know that we have an executive order. The first executive order was under President Ford. The current one, I think it was under Reagan, 12333, that prohibits the United States from engaging in assassination. With that said, there are people around that have access to Putin, maybe as generals, maybe as advisors. You're right, there's probably not a table long enough to really protect him. But I got to imagine that the Russian people, if they knew what was truly happening here, and I bet you many of them do, they don't support this. From the people, some Russians have already spoken out against it, high-profile athletes, etc. You know, why is that even controversial, considering if you cut the head off a snake, you kill the whole snake? It would probably end the war, wouldn't you think? And if there's somebody that follows Putin, you worry, well, he may be worse, but in the back of that person's mind, he's going to be thinking about what just happened to Putin, wouldn't he?
Well, in the 30s, when people were calling for getting rid of Hitler and hoping the German people would stop him, they were considered provocative. Looking back in time, don't you think the world would have been a better place if the German people had stopped Hitler by any means necessary? Don't you think the world would have been a better place if we'd stopped the Balkans War before the genocide? I'm here to tell you, without equivocation, without apology, I believe the world would be a better place if the Russian people took Putin out. And to the Russian people, your future is in your hands. It's easy to talk about on television. I know it's hard to do. Martial law, a curtain has descended upon you and your freedom. But please, we need a Russian spring. If the Russian people rose up and took this man down, the war in Ukraine would stop. And the Russian people would regain its honor. And if we don't do this sooner rather than later, thousands are going to die.
Tens of thousands, Lindsey, maybe hundreds. Is anyone paying attention to the hit squads that Putin has sent into Ukraine to assassinate President Zelensky, who frankly has shown amazing courage under fire, in my opinion? I don't know him that well, but him staying and fighting and inspiring his people is kind of refreshing, because a lot of leaders by this point would have gotten on a private jet with millions of dollars of currency and gold and left the country, and he's staying with his people.
That's amazing. I'm going to speak with him tomorrow with all members of the Senate. He's an inspiration. And I just want to say this. You're on the right side of history. I'm on the right side of history. Calling for Putin to be taken down now to avoid more innocent lives being lost is the right thing to do. Asking the Russian people for a Russian spring is the right thing to do. Helping the Ukrainian people with weapons is the right thing to do. When it comes to the Biden administration, they're weak and they're slow. We should have done this months ago when it comes to the oil and gas sector. But I'm going to just let you know, if we don't get this right, if Putin prevails, he survives yet again after one war crime after another on television every night, China's going to take Taiwan and the Iranians are going to break out for a bomb. How this end matters, and let it end now. Let it end with the Russian people taking this thug and war criminal down.
I'll add one last thing, and stop importing Russian oil. That means the U.S., and that means our allies in Western Europe. And by the way, don't even contemplate taking in or importing Iranian oil. That would be about, well, maybe the equivalent or even dumber. Senator Lindsey Graham, thank you for being with us.